What's up, people? Once again, it's time for another intro to my, once again, real life superhero quote unquote fan page. And this time on this, actually this is the same intro as the last one. Only this time this is the same intro with a quote unquote different quote unquote costume. This is one of both my revealing comic book list, comic books and working class comic books list. My t-shirt and skinny jeans, gloves with or without, gloves with quote unquote COVID mask on. Once again, this is another intro to my various classic rock and roll, hip, retro, classic and modern rock and roll, hip hop video reviews, rants, and favorite best lists, etc. Another Doug rants, current and Doug's current past social events type quote unquote video. And once again, I'm thinking about it, various comic book, novel, movie, animation, video game reviews in quote unquote pretty much the same as everything else, only this time in costume for this exclusive page, but I'm thinking about uploading it to other channels too. So yeah, with that being said, this time I'm using It Doesn't Matter in both of the quote unquote intros. So with that being said, let's get started right now.
Never give up.
Hey everybody, it's time for my part 2 real life superhero on camera review of all 4 of the Street Fighter movies to set up the upcoming 2026 movie coming next year. There will be no footage playing in the background so you can hear me clearly. And since I'm talking about all 4, no footage will be playing in the background. So with that being said, I'm going to make my grand entrance on camera and start right now. Look, you can see my dog, Max. Maxwell is joining us. Yeah. The first Street Fighter, like I said in part 1, the first Street Fighter movie ever released was Street Fighter 2, the anime film. But I'm going to start off with the live action version with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia. I saw this film for the first time 4 years after it released in 1994, and I've been a huge fan ever since. However, in recent times, I had to take off the nostalgia glasses and see the movie for how terrible it was. It's one of my all-time favorite good bad movies. Yeah, this movie hasn't aged well. It was good when it came out, but compared to all the stuff that was in the late 90s, early to late 2000s, 2010s, and now the 2020s, yeah, this movie isn't all that good. The biggest issue with this movie is not staying true and not having faith in the source material. Other gripes I have with this film is the characters themselves, the Street Fighters. Other than when they're fighting Bison Troopers, they're too realistic. Yeah, they're too realistic. The Street Fighter characters are supposed to be able to smash bricks, cars, barrels with their bare hands and feet, and also, bare hands and feet. In the lore, Balrog killed one of Dhalsim's elephants with a punch, but you don't see much of that. Other issue is, while the film has lots of action, it doesn't have a lot of street fighting. For a movie called Street Fighter, it doesn't have a lot of street fighting. Which brings me to my next point. My next gripe. Going back to the source material, instead of the International Street Fighting Tournament plot associated with Street Fighter 2, which is what this movie is based upon, they used an action movie plot reminiscent of movies like Commando, Die Hard, James Bond, Jean-Claude Van Damme's other movies, Universal Soldier and Time Cop, which is Jean-Claude Van Damme's other movies, Universal Soldier, Time Cop, and Lionheart. Those are more Street Fighter than this Street Fighter movie right here. But that's all the bad. The good is the cast. I thought the cast, while several casting choices could have been better, I thought the cast was pretty good for what you got, especially the leads, Van Damme and Raul Julia. Van Damme, despite being a Belgian French guy, he captured the personality, and being a little bit too feminine, in my opinion, he captured the personality of Guile. He captured the personality and fighting style of Guile. He looks like him in the face a little, and his martial arts and fighting style in the movie resembles Guile's gameplay and fighting style in the video games. So I can see why Van Damme earned the role of Guile. And when I saw the movie for the first time, when I was just flipping channels, I immediately recognized Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile and Raul Julia as Bison, as General M. Bison. So yeah, the cast, the action, there was lots of action. My favorite scene is the big flying kick Van Damme did on what you call it, favorite scenes, the big flying kick, all of Ryu and Ken's films, all of Ryu and Ken's scenes. Their scenes along with Zangief's make me feel like I'm watching Street Fighter. Those were probably the MVP of characters in the movie. Right here, Ryu and Ken taking a backseat to Guile. That bothered a lot of people. That didn't bother me as much because Ryu, Ken, Guile, and Chun-Li. Ryu, Ken, Guile, especially those three, are my all-time favorites to play as from Street Fighter 2 Champions Edition and the prequel World Warrior, and Fei Long, DJ, Cammy from the upgraded port. I also like playing as the boss characters, but I like fighting them more. So yeah, same goes with Chun-Li. I like playing as Chun-Li, but I like fighting her more. Those three characters, along with the new challengers, are my all-time favorites to play as in Street Fighter. In the original Street Fighter 2 video games. And the original 12 Warriors were done great, except it's the new challengers and Blanca that I thought were weak in the film. So yeah, you got a decent storyline, awesome action, an all-star power cast, an awesome soundtrack, and despite being torn apart by critics, this was the first video game movie to make a profit after the box office flops that were Double Dragon and Super Mario Brothers. And it has lots of memorable quotes, including Van Damme and Bison do their quotes from the video game. Bison, anyone who opposes me will be destroyed. Van Damme, are you man enough to fight with me? So yeah, that was Street Fighter. Now we move over to the anime. The anime was so much better. This was so much better. This was closer to the video games. This was a lot closer to the video games. The characters look as they appear in the video game and Street Fighter. I like the idea of live action, but for a while, animation is the way to go. Animation is the way to go. I like the idea of Street Fighter with real people, but animation is the way to go when it comes to Street Fighter. And this movie right here, I consider this one of the most important works of anime and animation in the 90s. This, along with X-Men, the animated series, and Batman, the animated series, changed Saturday morning cartoons forever into a more mature, action-oriented, story-filled product instead of the campy, toyetic, merchandise-driven shows, the other shows at the time were. And I think every big-time cartoon and anime tried to emulate these three things. Every video game, movie, and television series tried to emulate Street Fighter 2, the anime movie. And this is widely considered to be the greatest Street Fighter adaptation. I think it's one of the greatest Street Fighter adaptations, but I don't think it's the greatest. And I think it's one of the greatest video game movies of all time. Especially, I grew up with the VHS English version, but the uncut DVD and the Japanese version are vastly superior. It's like watching a brand new film when you turn on the Japanese version. The Japanese music fits the scenes, the characters so much better. This film also has some of the most realistic fight scenes of all time in Street Fighter. In anime, which I'm mixed towards. If I want to see realism, which I want to see, while that's groundbreaking, if I want to see realism, I watch a live action martial arts flip. But this was good too. My favorite scenes of all of Ryu, Ken, Guile's
scenes, the final fights, Ryu and Ken versus Bison, Gao versus Bison, Honda and Balrog. Yeah, Honda and Balrog, those are my all-time favorite and best scenes. Only issues I have with this film is that this film, while it features everyone created for Street Fighter at the time, the other characters just show up for a cameo appearance. And mostly, the story mostly focuses on Ryu, Ken, Guile, and Chun-Li, with Honda, Dawson, Balrog, and Vega having major supporting roles. The other Street Fighters just show up for a cameo or two, a cameo and fight scene, and then eventually leave and are never seen again in the movie. And which brings my next problem is the film sets up a sequel, but there was never any sequel following this. Japan has some small continuation from this film, but there was never a sequel, like a whole nother anime, movie, or a television series. The Street Fighter II Victory television series, which follows this, is neither a prequel or a sequel to this, despite featuring the same cast, and similar animation and a similar plot line. And just like the Van Damme film, this doesn't use the international. Well, this has more street fighting. It doesn't use the international street fighting tournament plot. It uses a sci-fi action-oriented plot, just the Van Damme movie. But this is vastly superior when it comes to adaptations. One of the best video game movies around. And this movie gave us the very awesome Alpha series. It features muscular youthful versions of the characters, and the final scene was adapted in the video game as a dramatic battle where you select Ryu and Ken and you fight Bison. The Japanese version even has an instrumental version of the Japanese song. So that was Street Fighter II, the anime film. And they even spawned a short-lived manga, which I thought the manga was better than the anime. The manga by Viz Media was better than the anime, where Sagat and Fei Long have larger roles in the manga than they do in the anime. And it features a slightly different storyline with Guile being, I'll say that for another time. So yeah, Street Fighter 2. Next we got Street Fighter Alpha, the animation. This was created to celebrate the anniversary of the 15th or 14th anniversary of Street Fighter. This movie right here was created, Street Fighter Alpha, the animation. It was this right here. I consider this movie right here to be the best Street Fighter movie and adaptation alongside the animated series. This is loosely based upon Alpha 1 and 2, and despite having a original antagonist in place of M. Bison, this movie right here feels like a complete adaptation. This movie feels like a complete adaptation of Alpha 1 and 2, despite missing key characters. Yeah, only problem I have with this awesome movie right here is that this movie sets up a sequel, but just like Street Fighter 2, there was never a sequel. They later did another Alpha movie called Alpha Generations, but I don't care much for that one, so we're not going to talk much about it. That was okay, by the way, if anyone wanted to know my opinion on it, but I like this one. Right here, this is the best. This, in my opinion, handles the supporting characters much better than Street Fighter 2, the anime film, did. And this featured the International Street Fighting Tournament plot. The storyline mostly focuses on Ryu, Ken, Birdie, Chun-Li, and Sakura. Birdie has the largest and biggest role he's ever had in all of his Street Fighter existence in this movie right here. Yeah, kind of think of, speaking of Birdie, Birdie had the spot that was actually designed for, that should have been designed for Zangief. Zangief was poorly utilized. This is one of the only things the comic books and the live action film got right. They're the only ones to get Zangief right, closer to his video game counterpart. Every Street Fighter adaptation, the animated series, Victory, the animated movie, and Alpha Animation has him as some random thug for Shadaloo, when in the video games he opposes Shadaloo. But I'm not going to punish the movie for it, because the Street Fighter isn't about Zangief. He's a major supporting character in the Street Fighters. It's about Ryu. It's about Ryu and them, and they're done real well. Yeah, the action, this has slightly more realistic anime style of action. This slightly more realistic anime style of action. Anime action mixed with realistic looking fighting. I thought the action here was so much better. Music was okay. That's one thing that was better in the Street Fighter 2 anime movie I mentioned earlier. But the music right here, the music was good too. The music was okay, but it was better in Street Fighter 2, the anime film. But I thought this was better because it features the Alpha storyline. Yeah, like I said, the storyline mostly focuses on those 4 characters, but other characters like Aiden, Saddam, Dan, Hibiki, Akuma, and Rose have major supporting roles. We also get cameos from Rolling Toe, Final Fight characters, Rolling Toe and Guy. And Dan's appearance has him just like Dan's appearance has him just like his video game counterpart. He fights Birdie, gives him a short Hadouken, and gets strangled to near death. He also gets cut up by Vega earlier in the film, but survives. And Aiden and Saddam are extremely accurate to their video game characters. I'm happy to see my boy Aiden get some love in Street Fighter. He appears in the animated series, but he has a silent cameo. Here he actually had a funny moment with him and Saddam arguing on the plane or being mad that Ken is participating in this tournament. So yeah, awesome, underrated movie. It has a mixed reception amongst anime fans. Some like it, a lot of people don't. But yeah, I think this is the best Street Fighter movie and the best Street Fighter adaptation alongside the animated series, the 1995 animated series. Outside the franchise, and of course the Udon comics, which is probably the supreme best, the Udon comics, because they're the closest. The various comic books and mangas are the closest to the video to the video games. So yeah, Street Fighter, like I said earlier, I like the idea of with them as live action, but they're so much better animated. Next, we move over to The Legend of Chun-Li. I aggressively defended this movie when it came out because I wanted Street Fighter to make a huge comeback, but this movie right here is atrocious. It's another good bad movie. It's not the best good bad movie, but it's another good bad movie. I like I think his name is Chris Clean, who portrays Charlie. He was downright hilarious. Christian Khrushchev, she was a great Chun-Li, even though she was flat-chested. And I love the return of Robin Shao as the weaker Robin Shao, Liu Kang from the 1995 Mortal Kombat film, and its sequel Annihilation return as the weaker but capable again. And Balrog, the late great Michael Clark Duncan portrays a great Balrog, and I love Neil McDonald. His Bison gets criticized a lot, but I actually enjoyed his Bison. He portrayed a younger, healthier Bison compared to Raul Julia. He was well matched with the protagonist in this film. That's one thing I did like, and I love the action in this film. It was more reminiscent of Street Fighter, Matrix, and Japanese animation. Animation, the characters, they felt like they're superhuman selves from the Street Fighter, video games. Biggest issue I had with this film: the story, action, soundtrack, everything was good. The biggest issue I had with this film was the costume design and the lack of characters. I see what they tried to do, but if they want to do this, they should have left Street Fighter alone. They should have left Street Fighter alone. And that was, they wanted, since the live action film had way too many characters, they wanted to scale back on that and focus only on one, and that was Chun-Li. That was Chun-Li. They wanted to do a Batman Begins Smallville. If you want to do Batman Begins in Smallville style, you should have left Street Fighter alone. I can see Smallville, but Batman Begins, you should have left Street Fighter alone. Everyone wears black. Everyone wears black and dark clothes. Bison doesn't have his cool costume. He has a suit. I defended it at the time, but now the characters, the movie looks bland without the characters in their iconic costumes, and it comes off as even more corny and cheesy. That's something that's supposed to be over the top. It's portrayed as being super serious. It's this is, some franchises are meant to be campy. You don't gotta be downright goofy, but are meant to be campy, and that was the issue with this movie right here. It fared even worse than the previous 3 Street Fighter movies. So yeah, this movie sucks, but I still like and enjoy it. I own physical DVD copies of both of these, and I have the other 2, the animes, downloaded somewhere in a private folder for my own viewing. Yeah. So yeah, this was my review of Street Fighter. This has been my review of Street Fighter. The Street Fighter. Oh yeah, now it's time for my thoughts on the upcoming Street Fighter movie. Let me see what the time is. Oh yeah, now it's time for my thoughts on the upcoming Street Fighter movie. And boy, I can't wait. Next year, I saw the trailer just dropped. The teaser trailer just dropped, and the movie looks awesome. This movie, like I said in part 1, this movie combines all aspects of the Street Fighter franchise into one movie. It combines the animes, the 2 live actions, the cartoon, the Street Fighter 2 Victory anime. It splices it all into one movie with an all-star power cast. I was initially mixed towards, but now after seeing this teaser, I can't wait to see him. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the casting choices. I thought you should have went with an unknown cast, a lesser known cast of people, lesser known cast of people. You should have lesser known cast of people, because if you get these big names, it stops being a Street Fighter. It stopped being a Street Fighter film and became Jason Momoa, 50 Cent, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns style of movie. But but seeing the footage of 50 Cent training as Balrog, which inspired me to continue my own training. Continue my own personal training. Balrog, the footage of him Balrog skipping rope, it was awesome. And and seeing this trailer already blows the previous 2 live-action Street Fighter movies out of water already. So yeah, the cast looks good. Film looks, cinematography, everything looks good. Can't wait. My only gripe is I gotta wait till October of next year to see this movie. I guess they wanted to avoid competition with Mortal Kombat 2. So yeah, I'll continue doing Street Fighter videos like this. I continue giving my thoughts on Street Fighter, and the more stuff, the more trailers and the more stuff releases and information releases about the film. But yeah, the storyline already, I'm excited. I can't wait. So with that being said, you want to hear the rest of the music? Turn the video off right now.
Sorry about that, my dog was in the way.